So hey everybody, welcome to Vegan Gaming Podcast. I'm joined by Bobby Lynch from, or you might know him as Bobby Physique on Instagram. Definitely, I think he's Bobby Physique everywhere, and he's a YouTube as well. And
everywhere, yeah, you can find me, Bobby Physique.
Thank you for coming on, man. I appreciate it. You're from New York, born and bred.
So I'm my parents are from upstate New York, which is Albany. That's the capital of New York, and I am from Connecticut, which is right next to New York. But I actually just recently moved down to New York City, so that's where I'm living now.
What's it like down there? Is it, for the vegan scene, is it okay?
Yeah, it's pretty good. There's so many more vegan spots down in the city than from where I'm from back in Connecticut. There's a few in my hometown and around the surrounding area, but you can find a lot of spots in New York City. So it's pretty nice living down here.
Good. So at least you're close to the family. Did you have a good Thanksgiving yesterday?
Yeah. I drove back home to my hometown is Mystic, Connecticut. If anyone is familiar with the United States, Mystic is a pretty popular spot in Connecticut. That's why I mentioned it. So yeah, it's only about a 2-hour drive. So I went home just with my mom and brother, kind of just really something pretty chill.
Yeah, cool, man. Are you the only vegan in the family, or is there a few of you in there?
So it's just me. Unfortunately, it's just me. Yeah, my brother, he was vegan for a little bit, and then he went back to not being vegan, but he's slowly kind of working his way back towards veganism. So hopefully he'll kind of make the transition soon. But we had a predominantly all vegan Thanksgiving meal yesterday, and just I helped my mom learn how to use different substitutions. Instead of using milk and butter for the mashed potatoes, we used almond milk and a plant-based butter. Same thing kind of with making the stuffing and just kind of finding those different alternatives. So it's a process. You kind of have to guide people through it, but hopefully maybe one day we'll see if they'll go vegan.
I must admit, yeah, I'm like, obviously I'm an English guy, but I do Thanksgiving myself because I love NFL. I love watching NFL. That's the reason I went over to Seattle 3 years ago now to watch the Seahawks, because that's my team. And
awesome.
Went over there for Thanksgiving, and I've just carried like a tradition of just having. I think it's an excuse to have loads of food. Basically, that's what I love about the American culture. It's just so like food is a big thing, and I had like a vegan chicken alternative on there, some stuffing and stuff. So yeah. So everything vegan more or less on the table, yeah.
Yeah, everything's vegan. Let me just take a pause real quick. Close this blind.
Some things you just can't control, can you?
Yeah. So everything wasn't vegan, unfortunately, just because my mom and brother aren't vegan. It was predominantly vegan. They still made a turkey, and that kind of makes me feel some type of way because I'm very connected with the animals at this point. Since moving down to the city, I've really been doing a lot more activism and just being very vocal on my social media about the animal rights aspect to veganism. When I went vegan, the focus of my social media had been more so on just fitness and nutrition. But even though the main reason that I went vegan was the animals first and foremost. So it wasn't a fully vegan dinner table, but kind of just still need to support the family and try to bring them along the best as I can.
Yeah, I suppose it's different with family. Do you still slide in a few comments now and then, or do you just like leave the family alone? Just hopefully they'll get.
Oh no, they know. I make sure that they know and that they fully understand, because I guess I would say I'm more tough on my family because those are the ones that I love the most, and it just sometimes it kind of hurts me in that sense that these people are so close to me, and yet I really try to help them see the other side to things, and yet it takes a while, or they just don't get it, or they're very closed off to it. So, but I mean, with time, slowly, they're opening up. But it's definitely a lot of tough love.
I suppose it's harder in that aspect. Obviously, you do it for the animals and stuff, but obviously the health reasons, and obviously you want your best for your family. So that's a hard bit as well, where you try to help them go through and see the benefits to it.
Exactly, because it really is. Veganism is so much more than just diet. Like I said, I first went vegan for the animals, also for the environment, but then also really for my health, because eating animal products has very detrimental effects on your long-term health, especially over consuming them. And unfortunately, as you know, in America, it's all about large meals. It's not just a Thanksgiving thing. People are feasting daily in America, and it's just crazy to see how much they're consuming, and then especially how many animal products they're consuming, which really have that just long-term detrimental effect on your health. And unfortunately, my dad passed of cancer 5 years ago, and at the time I wasn't vegan, and I didn't even go vegan until a couple of years after he had passed. And I just think about all of the stuff that I've learned since going vegan, and, you know, going into my transition to becoming vegetarian, and then about 8 months later going fully vegan, and just continuously learning and doing my own research. I wish I had known then, 10 years ago, because he was diagnosed 10 years ago, given 5 years to live. It was about 5 years, 3 months after that he ended up dying. I wish I had known all of the stuff that I know now then, to see if actually having him go vegan could have made a really big difference in his life, because I've seen so many people who are on their last hope with cancers, and they go vegan and they literally save their lives. So it's kind of like that, what if we had gone vegan and gone the natural route, instead of going with all of these FDA approved, you know, all these experimental drugs, FDA approved drugs, surgeries. What if we had just changed the thing that really affects your health the most, and that's what you put in your body on a daily basis? And we as a family ate a ton of meat growing up. But for me,
yeah, sorry to hear that. And I'm guessing that's, like you say, it's one of them things where it's like a hindsight thing in it now, you know, and it's just always going to be on your mind, constantly thinking, what if, you know, things like that. I think what you said there, yeah, when you mentioned like you went vegan because of the animals. I think for me personally, I went vegan 4 years ago. I was really into my cardio, you know, like cardio training. I loved running. I was like a big, like 10K half marathon running, and someone mentioned a plant-based diet. No, I knew nothing about, like, I didn't even think about the animals. I was just thinking plant-based. Oh, I'm going to try this. And I went with it, and performance-wise, I felt a lot better with it. And then for some reason, things go on in your life, and like, I wish they didn't, but unfortunately they didn't. I turned back to meat, but then I saw loads of videos about animal suffering and things like that, and I went vegan straight away. And I feel in a much better position now, where I know I'd never go back now, because I've seen these videos and pictures of the suffering.
Yeah, that's what I really try to tell people, is why veganism is so much more than just diet, because that's commonly something that I see happen with people who go vegan for just health purposes. They get bombarded with society and the societal norms that overload them with the information of eating meat and animal protein is healthy. And so they'll try going vegan for a little bit, and then ultimately kind of get overwhelmed. I'm not sure exactly what it was in your case, but whatever the case is, I see that happen with a lot of people until they connect with the deeper rooted why, and connecting with the animals, because we see certain animals and we love them, and we attach such high value of life to those animals, cats and dogs specifically, but then even other wild species like giraffes, zebras, lions, etc., tigers, right? All of these exotic animals that we would never want to see harmed. And we'll talk about them, or society will talk about them and get outraged if someone were to harm any of those animals, or especially a cat or a dog. You leave your dog in the car for 5 minutes, people will call the police on you for animal abuse while they're sitting there dining on steak and eggs. And it's just like, it's like an oxymoron. And it's just because there's those connections aren't made. But once you finally have that opportunity to make those connections, and you really connect with that deeper rooted why, and understand that these animals are the ones who are suffering. It's so much more than just what is on your plate, because what is on your plate didn't come from a thing, it came from a who. And when you ask yourself that just deep question of what would I want done if I were in that animal's position, if I were the victim, would I want to suffer and would I want to die just because somebody liked the taste of my dead body? If your answer is no, then you shouldn't be consuming that animal.
Yeah, I think that's what it was for me, is like the connection, like you say, it just clicked. It just clicked all of a sudden, and I knew, because like before, that's why I like not sympathize, but like I understand where when you're talking to people and you try to get it across, but they've been taught they haven't been taught this before all the way through their life, especially like the older generation. I find that's
Yeah.
like it's sometimes talking to a brick wall, kind of like, because you're just not getting it through. But I think like people like Joey Carbstrong, where you get people and they just put these videos up in thing, and that's like, and they see the connection, and obviously some still won't change, but you still, the more you can encourage more people to change, it's like a growing thing, and it's growing.
Exactly. And that is kind of our main focus, is more targeting the younger generation, because if we're really trying to shape the future, we have to start with where it really counts. And the younger generation is the way of the future. Not saying that we have to give up on the older generation, but as you just said, it's so much harder because they are more set in their ways and they have so many more years of life experience, which comes with so many more years of societal conditioning. And it's just really hard to break that down, especially if you've been conditioned to believe one way of thinking and this is the way of life for so many years. To have all of these new viewpoints and perspectives presented to you, and especially when there's such a large scale and things that we've been hidden from, such atrocities that take place every single day, and that people just have no idea what's actually going on, to be exposed to that and trying to contrast that with being conditioned that these things actually don't exist, but they really do, and they've been hidden. It's really hard to break it down. So I definitely understand that with the older generations. And that's kind of why it's harder for me with my family, with the older people in my family, to get it across to them. Is same reason.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I agree with you. So I think I skipped the main bit, like from the start. Well, how long have you actually been vegan?
Yeah. So I've been fully vegan since August 2018. So let's see, September, October, November. So about 2 years and 3 months fully vegan, no meat or animal products. But I haven't eaten meat since November 2017. So it's now a full 3 years since I've eaten meat. And yeah, honestly, my only regret about veganism is that I didn't go vegan sooner.
No, I think we said when we were talking before, I said that to you. I think it's probably the same with everyone. You know, like that's the only regret. So I'm guessing you were vegetarian before. How did that come about? Were it just a transition period, or were it just like you started just understanding and then gradually becoming vegan through understanding all the stuff that you learned?
Yeah, I started transitioning to vegetarianism in the way of cutting back on my meat consumption. That was about summer 2017. And then after I saw What the Health, November 2017, everything just clicked, because I had started following different influencers online like Joey Carbstrong, Earthling Ed, James Aspie, etc., and really started becoming exposed to the evil side of the animal agriculture industry, which is really the whole animal agriculture industry, just actually seeing the processes of what goes on. And then I started questioning my morals. And then I saw What the Health, and that's when I vowed to never eat meat again. And it's funny because the night before, was out with my mom and brother for dinner, and we were at the Cheesecake Factory. I don't know if I think that's just a United States thing, but
Yeah, I have heard of it, but yeah, it's the United States one.
yeah. So, and we had got a bunch of different meat-based dishes, and I had already been slowly cutting back my meat consumption. And then the next morning when I woke up, I just felt absolutely terrible. And then we proceeded to watch What the Health, and I was like, I'm done. Right then and there, I said, no more. I vow to never eat meat again. But it was about an 8-month transition of going vegetarian, really pescatarian, because I did eat fish every now and then, doing that, to ultimately going vegan, because I was still at first caught up in the bro science and that conditioning of thinking I need meat and animal protein to be healthy. Well, and really to build muscle, because I've been an athlete my whole life. I played multiple sports all the way through high school: football, baseball, and basketball. I started playing football, tackle football, when I was, American football, when I was 7 years old. And then I played all the way through college. And so all we were ever told in college is tons of meat, animal protein. And so I realized, okay, I could give up meat, but I still need egg whites. I still need eggs. I still need whey protein. That's what I thought at the time. So then once I started following other people online, like Nimai Delgado, Tori Washington, different vegan bodybuilders and realizing, wow, look at how long they've been vegan for and how much muscle they have. If they can do it, I can do it too. And ultimately what it comes down to is calories in, calories burned. And if you're getting enough protein on the nutrition side of things, and then what your training style looks like.
Yeah.
If your goal is to build muscle, then you need to be resistance training. That's really it. And then ultimately what matters for your health and longevity long term is the food source. And so I just really made all those connections over the course of 8 months. But then what led me to veganism was connecting more on the moral side of it and realizing that the egg and dairy industries are just as evil, if not more evil, than the meat industry because of how much they use, abuse, and exploit the animals before they're ultimately killed for meat. And I think when I saw what happens to eggs, or to male chicks born into the egg industry because they can't produce eggs, and how they're macerated at a day old, which, for anyone listening who doesn't know what a macerator is, that's basically a large industrial sized garbage disposal. And they're literally killed alive, put on a conveyor belt and dumped into this large garbage disposal alive. That's just like, I actually cried when I saw that. And I was like, wow, I literally cannot believe I just cannot contribute to this. And every time, and I just made that connection, every time that I purchase any sort of eggs, that's what I'm contributing to. When I saw everything that happens in the dairy industry, I'm like, anytime I purchase whey protein, any sort of dairy products, that's what I'm contributing to. And for me, on the one hand saying I'm an animal lover, but on the other hand, still consuming these products that cause so much abuse and death, that's hypocritical. And I looked myself in the mirror and I was like, wow, I'm a hypocrite. If I still do this, I don't want to live hypocritically. And one thing my dad always taught me was to do what's morally and ethically right, even though he wasn't vegan, again, because he was just like everyone else, very blinded to the process. But once I realized how I was contradicting my morals, that's when I said, I can't support this. And I went vegan, and I haven't looked back since.
Yeah, I think the word that you used, and I think that is the point you get to when you realize you are a hypocrite. That's when you realize that you need to jump over that line and get there. It's sometimes people get to that line in a different way. Like you were saying there, some people can go cold turkey and go, excuse the pun for Thanksgiving. I mean, they can do it straight away, but some people need time. Like if you can have 5 days, 4 days a week not eating meat, and as long as you're getting towards that goal, I think it's fine. I know a lot of people are critical with that, but I think if you're going to get there, it's better than not getting there at all, in my opinion.
Exactly. I agree. And it's really just being okay with calling yourself out and looking inward. I think that comes with any sort of change that you're trying to make in your life. You have to take that step back and look at yourself, look into the mirror and analyze and criticize yourself in a constructive way and open your mindset instead of being very closed off and deferring everything to everyone else as everything is everyone else's fault. Look to yourself first. And once you can do that and analyze yourself critically, that's when you'll see positive changes being made all across the board in your life, whether it's with veganism, whether it's with your professional career, your personal life, etc. You have to turn inward and look at yourself. And if your actions are not aligning with your beliefs, you are a hypocrite. And that's okay that you're a hypocrite in that moment. Now, what matters is, what are you going to do about it? Are you going to now match your actions to your beliefs, or are you going to decide to continue to live hypocritically? And I believe that I fully believe in karma. The energy you put out is the energy you receive in return. And so it's one thing to kind of go through life, like most of society, regarding veganism, being blinded to the process and not knowing, calling themselves animal lovers, but still consuming, paying for suffering and death without really realizing it. I was one of those people. And then what matters most, though, is once you do realize it, are you going to continue living hypocritically? And if you realize you're living hypocritically, and that's when you choose to still live hypocritically, I think that's bad karma. And ultimately, I think that will cycle back around in the end.
No, I agree with a point that you said there, where I feel like when I actually made the connection, I went vegan. I felt better about myself in other aspects, not just that. I just felt a better person. I know like I'm not better than other people, but sometimes I was thinking that's how my mindset was feeling. I felt good. I looking around thinking I'm really, the positivity just like it kind of like read through me, and I can't put my finger on why. It just did, you know, going to work, you know, like going to the gym, you know, just love of the family. I just felt more positive, and it must be to do with that, because I never felt like that before turning vegan. And it's like I said, it's hard to explain. I can't really. I'm sure someone more technical than me could explain it, but that's how I felt.
I fully connect with you, and I feel the exact same way. I felt like when I went fully vegan, that's when I really connected with my spirituality and my purpose in life. And I just felt like I really tapped into my innate empathy as a human, because humans were naturally empathetic creatures. And I felt like when I went fully vegan, I really tapped into that innate empathy, that compassion, that love, because it feels so much better to give love instead of constantly trying to take. And then especially once you do realize how much negative energy you're contributing to by passing your dollar over to an industry that is literally rooted in evil and exploitation of innocent creatures who want nothing more to live, just like you and I. Once you realize I'm abstaining from this and you take a stand, that's where I felt the exact same way. I felt like this weight had been lifted off my shoulders.
Yeah.
And I just felt so positive. And that's how I feel every single day. I feel amazing every day, not only because of how my body feels from the food that I'm eating, but also because I know that I'm no longer contributing to the suffering of these animals. And now even more so with the activism that I've been doing recently, and just being very vocal about it. I even changed in my bio on Instagram, vegan athlete and activist. I really just let my activist side come out and let that voice come out, and just decided to no longer suppress it. And I feel even more aligned with myself. I feel even more positive, because not only am I abstaining from using these products that cause suffering and death, I'm now standing up for these animals fully every day on their behalf, because they don't have a voice and they need someone to stand up for them. And if I don't stand up for them, then who's going to? Obviously some people will, but I feel like it's almost my job to pay it forward, because it was people who are doing stuff like I'm doing now with activism that ultimately led me to going vegan. So if I can do the same thing, I'm just going to have that much more positive influence on the world, which is ultimately going to turn and positively affect those animals and hopefully save lives.
Yeah, speaking about your activism, there is that obviously, like you said, being vegan, like obviously having a positive outlook, you want to give something back, you know, to the thing. Did you jump into that straight away by yourself, or did you have friends around you that showed you about? I know that you've got the plant strength performance. That's like your. Obviously, if anyone's seen you on Instagram, you've got like your guys around you and stuff. Did you know them before, or did you like reach out?
Yeah, so Plant Strength Performance is my company. We're an online vegan fitness and nutrition company. And so a lot of those people in the pictures, in the recent pictures you see, like the team pictures, they're actually ambassadors, like all ambassadors on the team. And when I really just started becoming more vocal with my activism is one ambassador on the team, specifically Jamie Logan. She was actually the first ambassador to join our team, and she's from the New York City area. And she has been very vocal with her activism for a lot longer than I have. And I always had told her, whenever I'm down in the city, I want to do some activism with you. And then I moved down here. And so then we finally got to actually meet in person, because we had only known each other online. And she took me to a vigil, and she actually took me and my roommate, who's one of my business partners, who you might have seen walking back and forth in the background. That's DJ. He's an ambassador and coach on the team. And she took both of us to this vigil in Newark, New Jersey. It's just outside of New York City. And a vigil, for anybody listening who doesn't know what that is, basically it's where they stop the trucks outside of a slaughterhouse that are delivering the animals, and allow the vegan activists who come in and show some love and compassion and give some food, and mainly more so water, to the animals who have been on these trucks for 1, 2, 3 days at a time without any food or water, exposed to the elements, literally standing in inches to feet of their own poop and piss. And once she took me to that and I saw the animals firsthand, because I had seen a lot of activists online doing this and I'd seen her going to these vigils, and that's what prompted me to go vegan. But then actually seeing it in person and feeling the energy of the animals and just looking at them face to face and being like, wow, like these animals are just like, I have a couple of dogs at home. They're just like my dogs at home. There's no real difference, just how they look, but they still have that same innocence to them, that same, I just want love. I just want compassion. Why is this happening to me? I don't understand. And that just hit me so deep. And that's when I was like, I am no longer suppressing my voice. And I had started becoming slowly more vocal, more so in my stories, but never really posting to my feed, because I'd always said, oh, I should keep my feed more fitness and nutrition, because that's what my page was started on, Bobby Physique. That's what I started the page on. But then I'm like, this is my page. I'm going to do what I want with it. And if people want to follow me, then they can follow me. And if they don't like what I have to post, unfollow me. All good. I'm going to do something because it's for such a bigger purpose than me. And actually, I've only received a positive response. I've only been gaining followers. I've only been gaining more engagement, which ultimately that's not, I mean, that helps in terms of spreading the message. Mm-hmm. But that is ultimately trying to come back to the animals in the end. And that's the purpose of what we're doing. And so, yeah, that's why we've been kind of doing more activism, and the team around me, like I said, they're a part of my company, Plant Strength Performance, and our movement has been really to defy the status quo and prove what's possible through the power of plants. And so we're really just trying to do things, both going to the vigils, but also we have a couple signs. I'll show them right here. You don't need meat to build muscle. Real men eat plants. We've just been literally going out down into the city with a team, go shirtless, putting vegan on our chest, working out, and just literally trying to invite everyone in to defy that status quo of, vegans can't build muscle. Plants, where do you get your protein? It's what we're asked all the time. Where do you get your protein? We want to show people that protein is derived from plants. You can build muscle. You can be cool as a vegan. You're not going to be an extreme vegan. You can literally come in here and you can live your life. It's just changing your lifestyle. It's literally switching out different products. And yeah, so that's what we've been doing down in the city, and I love it. I'm having such a great time.
Oh, man, it's cool, man. I've seen quite a few posts now, because I follow DJ, I follow Jamie as well, and I didn't follow Jamie until after I followed you and DJ, and I've scrolled back and I've seen some of the videos from Jamie, and I think she's been into like a few shops, with anti-fur things like
yes.
that, because I'm like, I never say never, but like obviously people are different. Like I hopefully one day I might be able to get there and go and do it, but people do it in different ways, and people are more extreme, which I support, because for me personally, I think people in your face helps people. It comes across as good, Some people need a bit more softly approach, like a bit like Earthling Ed and Joey Carbstrong. You never see Joey Carbstrong, maybe not so much. Sometimes he does get a bit irritated, but Earthling Ed's so calm, and like it when he comes across. But what would you say that you're more like an Earthling Ed, more calm, or do you get? Because I think if I went to him, I think that's the reason I wouldn't go. Because I feel like I just wouldn't be able to speak, because I'd be so angry. So I'm guessing you have to be calm under the circumstances.
Yeah, and it's funny you mentioned Jamie too, and the stuff that she does, because she's the one who literally just goes in with the megaphone into a supermarket and will start, and she, with a whole bunch of people around her who have TVs, but she's the one who's leading the charge and being super vocal and not afraid to get in people's face. And before I had really started doing activism, and I'd actually seeing the animals, like I had said, in person, not just seeing them online, but seeing them in person and feeling their energy and really connecting with them and understanding that these are individuals. They're just like you and I, even as humans. They're just like us all as humans. The difference is just how they look and how they communicate. Yes, their level of intelligence isn't as high as ours, but they're still sentient beings. And pigs have the average intelligence of a 3 to 4 year old child. So does that mean we should be able to do whatever we want to 3 to 4 year old children just because they're not as intelligent as us? A common pushback we get while doing activism of why it's okay to exploit and kill animals. Well, they're not as intelligent as humans. I mean, pigs are more intelligent than dogs. They have higher IQ, but we value dogs in our culture and cats so highly. So kind of with Jamie, yeah, I guess I would say my style is more Earthling Ed, but then combine that with a Nimai Delgado in terms of the vegan bodybuilding. I mean, he's a lot bigger than I am, but so it's just being a vegan bodybuilder athlete. I would classify myself more as an athlete, but combining that with the activism, and that's kind of that's the movement that we've been starting here, and that's what we've been doing with, like I showed you the signs: real men eat plants. Common societal thing is real men eat meat, or men, it's manly to eat meat. So we're trying to defy that. And then also that you don't need meat to build muscle. And then on the bottom of the sign, it says, prove us wrong. And we're shirtless, and we have, we keep ourselves in great shape. So what can people say? So yeah, I guess mine would be more on the softer side when talking with people. But in terms of, I like to practice what I preach. And so I don't want to sit here and say you can build muscle and you can get protein on a vegan diet, but not keep myself in the condition to where somebody would be like, like they would question me in a sense. And that's kind of something I had seen a lot with different vegan activism, activists, specifically guys who I love what they're doing and I want them to continue doing it. But the big pushback that they were constantly getting, because they're just not, their goals are not aligned with what my goal or DJ's goals are in the gym. And because they don't have the physique that would say, like a bodybuilder, they get pushed back from other guys. Where do you get your protein? Oh, I don't, and then they tell them, but they don't believe them. So that's kind of why we're trying to defy that status quo. I'm kind of understanding more Jamie's side to things now, because like you said, everyone needs a different approach. And so I'm really, because at first I would be like, Jamie, I think that's a little too much over the top. But now I'm kind of really starting to understand it more, and never say never. I haven't been to a fur protest yet. And I always thought, I could never go to a vigil because it would be too powerful. It'd be too much. And then I went to a vigil. So I think maybe the next step up from you would be actually going to a fur protest. I don't know if I'm gonna be getting on the microphone, but again, never say never. Who knows? Who knows where things are going to go in a couple of years from now?
It's interesting you brought up Liam Delgado. Like people like him, yourself, and DJ. I think it's important to have these people. Like I know people say you shouldn't look up to people and like put them on a pedestal, but I think it's also important to have people like yourself, and to see that you don't need meat to build muscle. It's the facts are there. In front of you. There's no cheating there. It's no different to, like, you look at Liam and look how big he's massive. You know what I mean?
Right.
As big as most people who are eating meat on a meat diet. But
bigger than pretty much most. Yeah.
But it's important to have these people. I believe. Like I said, I think a lot of criticism came out. I know I'm going like from a start to Miley Cyrus here, like jumping up. A lot of people were critical. They say you look up. You shouldn't look up to these stars if they're vegan. But I do believe it is good to have people in the limelight that are vegan as well to look up to. Because I know some people won't stay vegan, but the people that stay vegan all their life, it can only be a positive, I think.
Exactly. And I think you made a good point of saying not putting people on a pedestal, because no matter how many followers or fans somebody has, or whatever their level of celebrity status is, at the end of the day, we're all people. And really, I guess, just speaking on myself specifically, because I control what you can control. I can only speak for myself. I can't really speak for them. But my purpose, and I can speak for DJ because we are aligned and we feel the same way. Our purpose for doing what we're doing now, especially in the gym, is really doing this for the animals. And we say this all the time. We're in the gym, push it, let's go. Every rep saves a life. Oh, you can't get that last rep? Think of that animal that's dying. You get that last rep out, right? And we're doing it because we really want to defy that status quo. That's the motto of our company, Plant Strength Performance: defy the status quo, improve what's possible through the power of plants. And like we've just been talking about, that status quo is that you can't build muscle and be healthy without eating meat or animal protein, which is completely false. Because at the end of the day, it's calories in, calories burned versus calories burned, which determines the changes in your physique, whether you're gaining weight, staying the same, or losing weight. And then in terms of building muscle, the amount of protein that you're taking in combined with resistance training. But it doesn't like that protein source specifically in terms of building the muscle, whether you're getting plant protein or whether you're getting animal protein, because of course you can build muscle while being an omnivore. But what matters the most in terms of your health and longevity is that plant-based diet, speaking on just your personal health, but then also in terms of the ethics and what is happening to those other beings that are suffering on your behalf. Essentially, we like to say, stop stealing animal gains. Because every time you eat meat and animal protein, you're stealing the gains from that animal, because that animal had to die in order for you to make your gains. So yeah, like really just our purpose is just to make that statement. And I think it is good. Unfortunately, Miley Cyrus went back to not being vegan. And it really do your due diligence and do your research and understand who you're following and looking up to. I personally am a professional nutrition coach and a certified personal trainer with the National Academy of Sports Medicine. And I've been in the fitness industry my entire life. I mean, I started working with a personal trainer when I was 9, played football all the way through college, worked with professional coaches there, had a deep passion for it. Miley Cyrus, she's a singer. And if you don't properly, why people fail on a vegan diet is they're just not properly educated about what food sources to consume. So if you see people that go back to being omnivore and eating meat and animal products, it's really because, and they say, oh, wow, now I'm starting to feel so much better. I was losing all this weight when I was vegan. I don't know, and then once I started eating these meat and animal products again, I started feeling healthier and better. Well, it's because meat and animal products are calorically dense, so it's easy to get calories in. And clearly, if you were losing weight, you weren't consuming enough calories. And also, if you were feeling nutrient deficient, you just weren't consuming enough of the right food sources. Because if you know exactly what you're doing and what food sources to consume and how much of each food source to consume, you're going to kill it on a vegan diet. And it's going to be so easy to sustain, build muscle, and achieve the results that you want to see. So that's the unfortunate part to looking at certain celebrities and holding them on a pedestal, because unfortunately Miley Cyrus has probably influenced a lot of people who were vegan to possibly go go back to not being vegan, or people who are thinking of going vegan to just not going vegan because of their celebrity status. But it's really who you look up to is going to matter, and how educated that person is.
I like a point that you brought up earlier where you're in the gym. Normally, a lot of people are probably, and you probably do, obviously you want to look good yourself and everything, but that last rep is for the animals and it's going through your head. I love that.
Every rep saves a life. That's what we say, because it's just kind of like what we talked about, finding your why, finding that deeper purpose for why you want to go vegan and what's going to keep you vegan. And that was my why from the beginning. And so just now being fully connected with that. And yeah, of course, I mean, who doesn't want to look good and feel good? I mean, I do that. I do it for that as well. But the main driver behind things, especially now, is the bigger purpose, is the animals.
Yeah. So going back to your activism in New York, what's it like in there? Do you get some positive? Do you get a lot of positivity each day, or is it sometimes a grind, or is it for you?
I know. I mean, it's only been, I guess, I mean, in terms of the positive response that we've been getting.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, the response has been overwhelmingly positive. Of course, there's always going to be the naysayers to everything. But really, with all of the activism that we've been doing, it's only been overwhelmingly positive. And it's because we really try to take a positive approach to things. With a lot of the activism that's done, like Joey Carbstrong does, for example, where he's always talking about the ethical side to things. We're trying to show people, bring people in through the more fun side to veganism, through the fitness, the nutrition, like we have a lot. Like when we were out last time, we had brought our Bluetooth speakers. We were playing a lot of EDM and dance music and just dancing, having a fun time, and just showing people that, like I was saying, you can be cool, you can have a good time, you can do different things, you can look how you want to look, be compassionate, and still be, for men, manly. It's not just for, veganism isn't just for girls. It's for everyone, and it's okay to do that. So it's only been overwhelmingly positive. And then we kind of talk to people more about the ethical side to things. So we try to bring them in a positive way. And it's not that the ethical side is negative. It's just what's taking place is negative, and it's hard to see, and it's hard for people to wrap their head around that by paying for these animal products, that's what they're paying for. So, but yeah, it's been very positive. We've done a couple events. It's getting colder out now, so we haven't really done any. The last one we did was last month, but for 2021, when things start getting really warm, we're going to start getting out every couple weekends, probably traveling around the country to do activism as well. So I'm excited for that.
No, I look forward to seeing more videos, man. Every time like you put the video up, I love them. It looks like having so much fun out there, you know, like with them all. I'm kind of jealous. I wish I were over there joining you, you know.
Definitely, dude. If you ever take a trip, right across the pond, across the Atlantic, just you know who to call, and you definitely be in on it. We want to invite everyone that we can. Anyone who wants to come out, whether you're vegan, vegetarian, an omnivore, you're welcome. You are welcome here with Plant Strength and the family, because we just want to show the love and compassion that you have and allow you to connect with that and just realize like you can have fun with it too.
It's good. It's good that you get yourself out there, because I feel like I look at my Instagram followers. That's what I can kind of base it on, and it must be 10% male vegans, you know, compared to, and it's obviously we know why, you know, it doesn't seem manly, and you know, eating meat is manly, and it's hard to get the message across, you know. But hopefully, like it's changing. I see more males transitioning to a vegan diet, you know, veganism, especially for the animals. It's like we were saying earlier, the main, you know, like a lot of males choose veganism, but it's for the fitness aspect, you know. It's like a lot of them don't see it through the animal side, you know, and it's hopefully people like yourself getting it across there it's a big help.
Yeah, and that's also been our goal, is to really connect that to both of them, and show not just the fitness side of veganism, but now show the animal rights side, and getting out there with the signs that we have, and going to the vigils and documenting the animals. And it really is. I mean, it's once you connect with that deeper purpose and understand that you can live a cruelty-free life. And it's really a lot simpler than people make it to be. And it really just starts with what you're putting on your plate every day, making some simple substitutions, some swaps here and there with what you're eating, and connecting to that deeper purpose, so that when those times come where you're pressed, oh, do I cave in and eat this pizza because it's the only thing that's available, or maybe I should wait or choose a different option, or all my friends are doing this, so I don't want to feel like I'm an outcast, so I'll join in and do them too. It's okay to be an outcast. It's okay to stand against the grain, even if everyone else is against you. If you know what you're doing is right, stand by that, and don't waver, don't break. And that is how you command your respect. That is how you stand up for what is right, and you really make a difference in this world, is being okay with people being against you, because the majority of the world isn't vegan right now. That's not in the future. Soon it won't be that way, and that's what we're trying to make a norm. Is veganism is a norm. It's not an extreme. It's a lifestyle. It's a way of living, and you can do everything you want. You can do it in a cruelty-free way, and that's what we're trying to show.
Yeah, I think it's not caring what people think. You know, I think that's from the male side. Obviously, I might be, obviously a few females might be the same, but I think mainly from the male side, it's thinking what your friends are thinking. You know, like if I turn vegan, are they going to take the mick out of me? Are they going to take the piss? You know, I mean, and some guys don't like that, and they just think, oh, well, it's the peer pressure kind of thing, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's, I mean, like I said, you know, I'll show the signs again. Real men eat plants. That's a huge one. And to be quite honest, you know, it's funny, because I have had people ask me, and that if I'm, and not that there's anything wrong with being gay or like lesbian, bi, whatever it is. I'm not, but I'm heterosexual. I like women, but I've had people ask me specifically for this. Are you gay? Or I thought you were gay. I'm like, oh, no, I'm not, but how come you thought that? Oh, well, you're vegan, and you really seem like you're a very loving person, and you have a lot of compassion, and you're also into fitness, and like you dress, like you wear tight clothing and stuff. So I thought maybe you were, and it's just like that societal conditioning of, if a man shows empathy, if a man shows emotion, if a man shows love and compassion, he's automatically deemed as weak or pansy, or that he's gay. And that's completely false. It's completely wrong. And again, like I said, there's nothing wrong with being gay. If that's what you like, then if that's what makes you happy and that's who you are, then be that. It's not who I am, but just because I'm like, I like to show my innate love and compassion for other living beings and for life, and I want world peace. Why does it have to be looked at as negative or unmanly? And again, that's why we're trying. It's all a part of our mission to defy the status quo, and specifically from that male's perspective and that fitness male perspective, that you can be into fitness, you can do everything that you want to do and be a man. And honestly, I think it's even more manly to be open and in touch with your emotions and not to close off, because it's easier to close off. But I think that's just a defense mechanism. It takes more strength and more power to look inward at what you're actually feeling and honestly be able to communicate that and be okay with showing your, a lot of people like to say vulnerability, but I just think of it as your genuine side, your authenticity of being in tune with your emotions. And I think it's more manly to be able to express them, because it takes a lot of power and strength to do that. And it goes against societal norms.
Yeah, I agree with everything. I don't think I could have put it any better myself there. I agree with everything that you say. Were you into a fitness before you went vegetarian, vegan? Were you a big fitness, like, gym goer before?
Yeah, pretty much my whole life. I started working with a personal trainer when I was 9. Just kind of learning the ropes, not really doing. It was just more of like little kid group things. 10 bucks a class, something like that, at the local YMCA. And then I started working out at this local gym in my hometown. It was a personal training gym, Advantage Personal Training. Again, still doing group stuff. It was more so just to learn. My parents wanted me to do it to kind of learn how to work out properly, because they knew that that was important, learning how to lift weights and do things the right way with correct form. And then also it would just help me with the sports that I was playing. And then it kind of started becoming serious after my freshman year of football, again, American football. And that's when it just became more of a lifestyle of, it first started with, I need to get bigger, faster, and stronger for the next season, because I really started to football started becoming my main sport. But then it started growing into a lifestyle, because I actually went through a chubby phase when I was in middle school, and I was picked on for being fat, and I was also shorter. I hit puberty late, so I was like 5'1" as a freshman in high school. And so, I was always shorter and then chubbier. So I looked even fatter than I probably was. And so that kind of like motivated me as well, to get in shape, because I didn't like how I looked and felt. And then it grew into a lifestyle, because you just feel good and I think as humans, we're blessed with this ability to move and to do so many things. And especially if you have that ability and you aren't disabled, because there's people who have it so much worse than you or I, and probably a lot of you guys that are listening to this. There's people who have it so much worse out there than you. And I think working out and being athletic or doing different activities, whether it's hiking, biking, going for walks, etc., it's a celebration of the fact that you have life, you have a body that is capable to do this. Anything could happen, and that capability could be taken away in an instant. You better celebrate it while you have it. And that's how I look at fitness and just living an active life overall, playing different recreational sports now that I'm out of college, consistently biking, hiking, etc., just moving my body, because as humans, that's what we were meant to do. We weren't meant to just be sedentary. We were meant to move. And it's really a celebration of that ability that we have. I
agree. Do you see any of the people from middle school that used to bully you now? Do you see any of them? Or
yeah, I would. I mean, when I was still living in my hometown, it's funny. Yeah, I would see people, and a lot of those kids that used to bully me, they are older now and not in shape at all. And my best wishes to them, and I don't have any hard feelings towards them. And really, kids are just Kids are mean. They're jerks when they're young. It's just how it is. And honestly, I'm happy for all of that time in my life because it's ultimately led me to who I am today. I really don't look at any experience as I try to spin everything in a positive light and take everything like how could I learn from that? How did I grow from that situation? And I think it really ultimately was meant to happen because it's led me to who I am today. And I'm now able to speak on this specifically with kids who are dealing with this and who are dealing with that, you know, maybe in that time in their life where they're going through a chubby phase, they're kind of growing into who they are. And I can give them that perspective and show them that, hey, look at, with hard work and dedication, you can change and you change yourself and you can become exactly who you want to be. And I can kind of be that inspiration and motivation for those kids who are going through what I went through and to show them that there is light at the end of the tunnel. Really anybody who maybe, you know, maybe some people listening to this have dealt with bullying, maybe are dealing with bullying in any sort of way, young, old, anyone who tries to bring you down, it's a reflection of them and not you. Because they're clearly dealing with some sort of negativity in their life that they need to try to push that negativity onto you in a way to almost make themselves feel better. And now that's why if I receive any sort of negative feedback, I literally do not take offense to it anymore. I used to. I do not feel any sort of type of way if somebody negatively says something to me because I know it's a reflection of them. Now it depends on what it is. So like if they're objectively criticizing me to offer me constructive criticism to try to make me better, or versus are they just being a hater? So if anyone's hating on you, it's coming from, it's a reflection of them and not you. So that's something I definitely want to add to, hopefully if that helps anybody listening kind of overcome that if they're dealing with it.
No, I agree. That's good. It's good that you brought that up because I think why would we not want to? Why would we not want to be positive about everyone? Why would we not want everyone to succeed? You know, I don't get this putting down, especially I see it on social media. It's like, I know it's so easy to criticize people on social media because you're behind a computer, but why would you not want to pick? I want everyone to succeed no matter what they're doing. You know, just let them succeed. Pick them up.
Exactly. I agree, exactly. And like I said before, it's karma. The energy you put out is the energy you receive in return. And the most successful people in life, they don't try to bring others down. They celebrate in other people's successes. And even if somebody is more successful than you, celebrate in their success because they'll most likely take you on and show you the way and guide you there. But if you're trying to bring them down, if you show jealousy and it's just negative energy, you're not going to get where you want to be. And it just kind of like the same thing with going vegan, how you feel so much more positive, how we both feel so much more positive. It's because we know that we're no longer contributing to this mass genocide, this just global negativity, this negative energy that is the animal agriculture industry. We're abstaining from that. And so now we feel so much more positive. So it's the same thing when it comes to life. If you're trying to be successful, no matter what it is that you're doing, only put positivity out, only celebrate in other people's successes, even if they're more successful than you. And with your hard work and dedication, eventually you'll achieve that same level of success in whatever it is you're trying to do.
No, I love it, man. I love it. Beautiful words again. You're hitting everything on the spot here. A few things that I want to bring up before we go is obviously you're a man of many stuff going on. Obviously you've got the plant strength performance. You've got your own book out, what is it called? The Winner's Manual, I believe, is it?
Yeah. The Winner's Manual. It's right here. So basically, it's like all my years of training and nutritional knowledge combined into one book. It's suitable for whether you're vegan, vegetarian, or an omnivore, because the premise of the book, it's the Winner's Manual. Take control of your life, how to ditch the quick fixes and finally produce results that last. So the main focus of the book is on building healthy habits, developing that strong mindset, and focusing on flexible dieting, intuitive eating, and habit change, because those are the things that produce the results that last. And really, the whole book is a learning process to how to learn about yourself, because there's no one-size diet plan that fits all. You have to figure out what works best for you, because what may work best for you might not work that well for somebody else, and vice versa. And so really, again, all of the things that I teach in this book are what are going to lead you to producing results that last, because that's what it matters. Anybody can follow a quick fix diet plan, subscribe to some 30-day fat loss program that all only just restricts you. And of course, if you're restricting yourself and you're starving yourself for 30 days, you're going to lose weight if that's your goal. But is that weight going to stay off if your goal was to lose weight? No, it's not, because you didn't learn habits. You didn't learn how to you didn't take the sustainable approach. And so that's what I teach in this, is how to take that sustainable approach so that once you get to where you want to be, you actually stay there. So yeah, that's the book, The Winner's Manual, right here. If you guys want to get this, winnersmanual.com. You can get an ebook, paperback, or a bundle that comes with a 8-week training program as well.
Oh, yeah, I'll drop everything in the comments below in the description where you can find all these things. I think I need to get that myself, because like I said to you earlier, I'm like a massive cardio person, but like now I've got a bit older, I find the cardio a bit harder now. I used to love cardio, and now I've got more into the strength in the last 3 months. So, but I find it hard for myself, like when I'm going to strength, is the eating, you know, because I just love vegan junk food, and it just doesn't work with the gym.
I mean, same. That's the thing. Same with me. I mean, like talking on just yesterday, when we had Thanksgiving, I had for dessert a couple big vegan cookies, a ginger molasses cookie, a sea salt chocolate chunk cookie. Then I had a bunch of ginger snaps. Then I had a bunch of, what else did I have? I don't know. I had a bunch of chips too. So I had a decent amount of junk food yesterday, and I eat probably like maybe 1 or 2 things every day. But really, like the focus of the book for you guys listening, it's what I teach is what's called the 80-20 rule. 80% nutrient dense food sources, 20% empty calories. And that's not about restricting yourself. It's learning how to include all of your favorite foods in your everyday diet right here. Step by step, you learn how to build a strong mind, body, and spirit, develop a healthy relationship with food, include all of your favorite foods in your everyday diet, build lean muscle, burn fat, and find balance within your personal fitness and nutrition. And if you're trying to build muscle, then you have to focus more on resistance training versus cardio. So actually, I'll kind of, if you guys are interested in understanding what's in the book, the sections of the book are as follows. Section number 1 is mindset. 2 is plant-based eating. Again, this book is not just for vegans or vegetarians, but it's for omnivores, because the focus is on flexible diet, intuitive eating. But the reason I have the plant-based eating section is to show all of the negatives around the animal agriculture industry, and then also all of the positives around a vegan diet, just to enlighten people in that sense. Section number 3 is preparing to win. 4 is food and cooking. So I talk a lot about food and cooking. 5 is flexible dieting. 6 is intuitive eating. 7 is training. I teach all of my training techniques in there, how to build your own program, structure your routine, talking about sets, reps, number of, how long you should be resting, how much cardio you should be doing, etc., to build your own routine that fits best with your schedule. And then section 8 is putting it all together. And then everything is cited. There's a whole glossary, works cited, so you can see all of the studies from where I got all of the information from. So everything's right in there.
Awesome, man. You've definitely sold me. I think I'm going to go pick it up after we finished it.
Awesome.
I think I need that. I think I need that to help me out. I think it'll be a big help. Like I say, you've got your plant strength performance, and you're cool. But you've got like a few. You've got some bands on there, haven't you? Some strength bands.
Yeah. So it actually they kind of originated because of COVID. So and a lot of with the gym shutting down. So we've got our resistance bands right here. It's an adjustable resistance band set. If you go to plantstrength.com/equipment. So there's 5 bands that come with it. They go 15, 20, 25, 30, and 35 pounds, but they're also listed in kilograms as well on there, and they're adjustable, so you can attach them and detach them, so you can combine all of them for a total of 125 pounds resistance if you stack all 5 onto one handle. So that would be 125 pounds would be about 60 kgs, give or take. I believe. So yeah, and then they come with they come with a door anchor, so you can put it around a door, and then they come with some ankle straps as well, and then this carrying case. And then we have right on our website, which is free, whether you purchase the bands or not, we have a whole video exercise library So on our coaching web platform and app, there's about 500 different exercises and variations, but there's an exercise library specifically dedicated to just band exercises. And there's about 70 plus different exercises and variations for just the bands, upper body, lower body, core, etc.
Awesome, man. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
kind of. I'm gonna have to get some of that. I think you're selling everything to me here. And then finally, this is the first two things are cool, but I love that. I don't know if you've created them or you've all worked together. The chicken bites, they look awesome, and I saw you cooking them up on one of your videos.
Yeah, I got these guys right here. So yeah, I actually created them myself. And you know, everyone on the team is they're all like ambassadors, and they're now promoting the chicken bites. So I send them the chicken bites, they create their dishes, they do different things, they promote them. But yeah, I actually I am the brains behind these, and actually one of the co-founders, Marcus, he actually played an instrumental role when we were kind of adjusting, because how these actually came about is when I went vegan, there was no option for me to going back. It was, I am vegan, I'm going to figure this out. And being an athlete and having a higher protein requirement than the average individual, I was like, all right, what can I do? How can I still maintain my high protein intake, but doing it fully vegan? So then I started doing more research, and I learned about soy flour and how high, how much protein is in soy flour, and then kind of broke down that conditioning of, oh, well, soy raises your estrogen levels, which isn't true, because it's phytoestrogen in soy, which is a plant estrogen, which actually has an anti-estrogenic effect on the human body, which is different than mammalian estrogen, which what we produce and what mammals produce. So when you have high levels of estrogen, you're actually increasing your levels of estrogen by consuming meat, dairy, and eggs, because that's real dietary sources of mammalian estrogen, which raises your natural mammalian levels that you produce yourself. So eventually that's kind of how these came about, because I'm like, all right, well, I need to figure out how I'm going to keep my protein intake high. And then I started doing some research on soy flour. Then I started making these, and I kind of had been adjusting the recipe over time. And then consistently being asked when I'm telling people I'm vegan is, where do you get your protein? And I'd list off all these different sources, but I wouldn't mention chicken bites. But I always, in the back of my head, I'm like, well, they weren't called chicken bites at the time. I don't even know what I was calling them. And then when eventually we started to take them, we did some consumer research, and based on the recipe that I had created for myself. And then we went around to my hometown, and we gave out about 100 sample packs, just 4 ounces, to family and friends, and then created a Google form to get some feedback of what people thought. And then from there, that's when we went back to the drawing board. And I had one of my like best friends growing up, who's co-founder in the company. He came on board actually a few months after I founded the company. So that's why I still consider him a co-founder. And also he played an instrumental role when we were experimenting with the recipe and adjusting the ingredients. And, he actually helped with Marcus Everett. He one specific ingredient that we ended up adding, which really made a big difference in the overall flavor profile and the texture. He was the brains behind that. So I would say, most of it I did, but if Marcus definitely made a huge contribution. He's also the one who found our co-packer. He's done quite a bit. So, definitely really happy to have him on the team. But yeah, so these are chicken bites, 17 grams of protein per serving, 4-ounce serving, no fat, 120 calories, 13 carbs, 7 fibers, so only 6 net carbs, and again, 17 grams of protein. And the best part is our motto, as you guys can see right there, is made from ingredients you can pronounce. So we have 7 simple ingredients in these: soy flour, garlic, onion, salt, spices, sugar, baking powder. That is it. And again, sticking with our motto of defying the status quo, a common status quo in terms of veganism and vegan meat substitutes is they're very high in chemicals and preservatives, additives, And that's a common pushback that I was also seeing with people when talking about veganism. Oh, why would I rather eat a meat substitute versus just chicken breast when it's chicken breast versus that whole chemistry list? And I'm like, okay, well, I mean, I understand that. There's also a lot of naturally occurring TMAO, endotoxins, heme iron, high levels of IGF-1, all the hormones, antibiotics, and the stress that you don't see on the chicken breast label. You only see chicken breast. All of those things are hidden from you. So aside from that point, I do see their point. And so I'm like, all right, let's defy that. Let's try to make something really simple and very macro friendly. Being an athlete, being a bodybuilder, you know, kind of your macros, counting your calories and making sure that things kind of the numbers play out how you want them are important. And that's another common thing is with the meat substitutes. A lot of them are very high in fat, very high in saturated fat, very high in sodium. We don't have any fat. Our sodium is very low, and the protein is very high, and also a lot of fiber too. And it's kind of lacking for a lot of people in their diet is fiber. So in just 4 ounces, there's 7 grams of fiber. So if you eat 8 ounces, you're getting 14 grams of fiber and 34 grams of protein. So that's kind of how the chicken bites came about. This is our sample pack right here. And we're in our pre-launch right now, pre-launch campaign. And then come January 2021, we're going to be in full production. And this label right here is going to be blown up, printed right on the bag. Same thing on the back. It's going to be printed right on the bag. And then we'll be good to go. They're available worldwide, actually, too.
That's what I want to hear. I was about to ask you when can I get them in the UK, but worldwide, that's good enough for me.
Yeah, worldwide, and see, and the benefit of them is this. You know, this is kind of part of like all the trial and error that we were going through, and all of the production tests that I was doing with Marcus. It ultimately led us to we pack these dehydrated, just like beans, rice, lentils, pasta. When you buy them in the store, unless you're buying like beans and beans canned, you know, you're pretty much buying rice, lentils, pasta. You buy all of that stuff dry, and then it goes through a simple rehydration process when you add water to it. Same thing here for this pack. This pack, it makes 2 pounds cooked. So that's 32 ounces. There's 8 servings in here. That's 136 total grams of protein in this whole pack. And all you have to do is you open the bag, dump it into a large pot, the whole thing. All of the seasoning is blended in with the dry bites. Dump everything into the pot, add 3 cups of water, which is 750 milliliters. And then you cook it on the stove, medium low heat, which is about level 4 if you have an electric stove. Cook it partially covered, set the timer for about 25 minutes. You can legit walk away. Make sure you listen to the timer, come back, stir it up to make sure everything is nice. And then once all the water absorbs, boom, they're good to go. You add them into any recipe or dish. And if you don't eat them all right there, you put them away and you have them prepped out already. And so they're good to go for the rest of the week.
Yeah, perfect for a meal prep.
Exactly. So that was another part of thinking of, you know, kind of doing it like this with the big pack. So.
I appreciate you coming on, man. Like I feel like I'm gonna have to get you on again because we've just gone over an hour, and I feel like there's so much I missed out on talking to you about. So we definitely, so that's a positive. At least I get to get you back on again in the future. But so I'll drop everything down below in the comments, all the stuff we've talked about, all your Instagrams, Bobby Physique on everything on all social media. Is that right? Yeah.
Appreciate that. And I'd actually also like to set everyone up with a discount code. So I'll do this for those of you guys who are listening. So we got the Vegan Gaming Podcast. So how about we'll do discount code VGP, all caps. You'll save yourself 10% on any order. So whether you're doing, getting some chicken bites, whether you're getting, a copy of the winner's manual, whether you're getting some resistance bands, you'll say, you know what, actually, I'm going to make it 15%. 15% on any order if you use discount code VGP at checkout. And all of this stuff is available worldwide.
I appreciate it. And I'm sure everyone else will appreciate that, man. Thank you so much. Can I use a discount?
Yes, of course you can. Most definitely you can.
That's good stuff, man. Yeah, so we're going to definitely get you on again, man. I appreciate you coming on. So good luck with everything going forward as well until we catch up next time. You're doing I love the work you're doing. I'm sure I speak for everyone that follows you. The stuff that you do is fantastic. The people who are shy or don't get to do it, probably appreciate that what you do, because obviously they're not up to it. The confidence that you bring to it, fantastic, man. We love it. We absolutely love it.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you very much. I really do appreciate the kind words. And my ultimate goal is just to spread that love and that positivity and show people that you can do everything that you want to do in life and do it cruelty free. That's really the ultimate goal. And that's the goal of Plant Strength. And if, if you guys want to get any of the products, the book, the chicken bites, resistance bands, anything more that we have, because we have some more stuff coming out in the future, just go to plantstrength.com. I'm sure, Jordan, you'll have everything linked in the show notes in the description below, but plantstrength.com, plantstrengthperformance.com, winnersmanual.com. They all direct to the same website. And make sure you use that discount code VGP, all caps, get yourself 15% off.
Oh, definitely. When I drop the video this weekend, I'll make sure it's in there for everyone and for everyone to share, and every link possible that we've discussed, they'll be all in there. So
awesome.
Thank you very much for coming on. Some great topics, great words. You speak very well, and appreciate everything you do. And until next time, stay safe.
Likewise. I'm looking forward to next time.
Cheers, man. See you later.
Later, guys.